Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And that muggy meter is sitting at steamy now, but that will be different later in the week as we drop into comfy and refreshing. I'll show you when.
At least 16 juveniles have been shot so far this year in Durham. Coming up, how police are investigating a shooting this morning that left a 17-year-old hurt.
And a woman is alive after witnesses say her car flipped on I-440. Hear what else they and police told WRAL. A lot of stories to get to this morning. Several crashes there and other stories we'll be updating you on. But first, good morning. Thanks for joining us here on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us. Maybe you're having your cup of coffee right now. Probably best to do that in the air conditioning because Elizabeth said it is steamy out there. That's going to be the story for today. But don't worry, it's going to get better, right?
It definitely is. We'll take a live look at Fayetteville right now. And you can see partly cloudy skies. We'll see that on and off today. We'll see more sunshine than we will cloud cover. 74 degrees right now in the triangle. Our wind is now coming out of the west and gradually it's going to shift to northwest. That's going to draw in some cooler, drier air, but it's going to take a day or two. Today is a transition day, so it's still going to be on the warmer side, on the muggier side, but we are not likely to see any scattered thunderstorms. So we're starting to move into that drier pattern today. 68 in Roxborough, looking at mid 70s in most places, though 74 almost everywhere except 73 in Goldsboro, and then of course up near the Virginia line. Hour by hour, by lunchtime, we're in the mid 80s and we'll see a high of 88 degrees. I can't wait for the day that we see our morning lows in the 50s. I'll show you when that's about to happen coming up. Eric?
I'll be looking out for that, Elizabeth, and some stuff for y'all to look out for on the roads here this morning. Things looking pretty busy for your Tuesday morning commute. The biggest issues, and I say issues plural, they are now down here, US 1 north of Apex. You can see we've got one crash there. That's causing some pretty significant backups. We now have another crash that's popped up on 64 as well. That causing some backups of its own. As we take a live look out here, the traffic cam right there at US 1 and Tryon Road, you can see several of the vehicles that appear to have been involved in that crash. No major damage there, but that is causing pretty significant slowdowns. Taking a look at those drive times as you're coming in. Probably about a 10 to 15 minute delay as you're headed from Apex here this morning. 10 minutes from Wake Forest, 10 minutes from Knightdale as well. And one other issue, if you're coming in from Eflin towards Hillsborough this morning, way up here on 40. Yeah, there we go. Outside of Hillsborough, you see this crash right here popping up on the map. This is leading to some delays as well if you're headed towards Durham or Raleigh. So a lot to keep in mind as you're headed in this morning.
And Eric, I'll tell you what, there is some improvement on I-440. It's back open after a crash this morning caused a car to be flipped onto its roof. You can see right here on your screen. It happened near Capitol Boulevard at about 3 o'clock. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. Witnesses told WRAL the driver was going the wrong way on the exit ramp before driving down a hill and flipping into the highway. Raleigh police say the woman was hurt in the crash, but she is expected to be okay. WRAL is trying to confirm with police whether the driver was going the wrong way.
And WRAL is following another case of someone under the age of 18 being shot in Durham. A 17-year-old is hurt after someone shot him in Durham. This happened just before 10 o'clock last night on Wabash Street near Moore Place. As WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains, this only adds to the trend that we're seeing in Durham among young people.
That 17-year-old is expected to be okay. Durham police are still investigating here today. They're working to make an arrest. But let's get you straight to video from the WRAL breaking news tracker to give you a look at the scene. The shooting happened near the intersection of Wabash Street and Moore Place just after 10 last night. The shooting comes just weeks after Durham's latest crime report was released. And we're looking into crime trends. They show more young people are becoming crime victims. Yesterday's shooting makes at least 16 juveniles shot this year in Durham. We'll stay on top of what comes out of this investigation and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
And 3 people are hurt after a car crash in Carthage. The single car crash happened at about 11:30 on NC 2427. The car overturned and landed on its roof. One person was airlifted to the trauma center at UNC. 2 others were taken to a nearby hospital and are expected to recover.
We're looking forward to a calmer day today after some wild weather yesterday. This is what it looked like in Cary. That's where a viewer tells WRAL at least 5 trees fell in her neighborhood alone. There were similar scenes throughout the area as heavy rain and high winds passed through. Some of the worst weather was in Scotland Neck and Halifax County. A tornado warning was issued there on Monday afternoon. People reported several trees fell along one street in that town.
A child is fighting for his life after a terrible Memorial Day crash in Garner. 2 adults who were in that car with him died in that crash. WRAL's Laura Levine is in Garner this morning. Laura, this is devastating. The driver, police say hit them, is facing impaired driving charges as well.
Yes, Michelle, this morning we are working to learn when Jordan Porter will make his first court appearance. We know that, as you mentioned, he has been charged with DWI. Taking a look at the scene here this morning at this intersection of US 70 and New Rand Road, you can still see some of the debris remnants here from that car crash yesterday after police say he ran a red light. Take a look at this video from the scene where you can see investigators there assessing some of the damage. Police say Porter was traveling west on US 70 and ran that red light, striking a Mazda traveling south on New Rand Road. The driver of the Mazda, Tyler Campbell, and a passenger, Susan Campbell, died because of their injuries. Also, that child in the vehicle is in the hospital this morning with life-threatening injuries. Garner police tell us at this time more charges are possible. This is a story that we will continue to follow and stay on top of. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Today, closing arguments are set to get started in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial. Both sides will make their final pitch to convince jurors that they have proven their case. Bree Jackson reports.
After weeks of back and forth battles in the courtroom, the prosecution will get its final chance to convince jurors that former President Trump falsified business records in an effort to silence adult film star Stormy Daniels.
Take the jury through how the conspiracy was formed, how we know Donald Trump himself was not only a part of that conspiracy in a broad sense, but okayed the payment to Stormy Daniels.
The defense is expected to take aim at former Trump fixer Michael Cohen and his credibility.
And try to suggest that Michael Cohen was acting completely independently. To the extent there was a conspiracy here, it was a conspiracy between Michael Cohen and David Pecker and, Keith Davidson, but not Donald Trump.
Trump spent parts of the Memorial Day weekend at campaign events.
That's nice. That's nice.
He was booed at the Libertarian National Convention Saturday. Then during a NASCAR race Sunday, he ignored shouted questions about this pivotal week for his trial.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much.
How do you feel about Tuesday? How do you feel about closing arguments?
Meanwhile, the Biden campaign is ramping up its attacks on the presumptive GOP nominee.
President Trump is unhinged, he's dangerous, and we cannot let him get back to the Oval Office.
Trump has denied any wrongdoing, claiming the hush money case against him is a witch hunt.
Reporting a verdict in Trump's hush money case could come as soon as this week.
Well, things are busy this morning at RDU, where you're looking live this morning. The Memorial Day travel weekend is wrapping up, and airport officials say it may have been the busiest one yet. As many as 300,000 people are expected to have traveled through RDU since Thursday. That's nearly a 10% increase of travelers compared to last year's Memorial Day weekend. And part of Wade Avenue will be closed tonight and tomorrow night as part of the ongoing work to improve I-440. The eastbound side of the road will be closed between Blue Ridge Road and Ridge Road from 10:30 tonight until 5 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's the side of the road heading toward downtown Raleigh. The closure will also be in place from 10:30 tomorrow night until 5 o'clock Thursday morning. Crews will be working on the I-440 bridge over Wade Avenue. You can use Hillsborough Street as a detour.
The College Baseball World Series matches are set. Top-seeded UNC will host the 4-seed Long Island in Chapel Hill in the first game. NC State is also a 1-seed. They'll host the 4-seed Bryant College in the first round. Duke is the 2nd seed in their regional. They'll play 3-seed UConn. That game is happening in Oklahoma. The College World Series gets started this Friday.
A surfer looking to catch one last wave came face to face with a shark. What he says about the moment that shark knocked him off his board.
Plus, a 19-year-old is safe after falling down a canyon. The 400-foot fall he survived, leaving with just scratches and scrapes.
And make some outdoor plans this week. We have some cooler, less humid air on our way. So gardening, car washing, exercising, or my favorite, heading to the pool. All on the table this week. I'll show you.
Welcome back. This is a live look at White Lake this morning. Beautiful out there. You're watching WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. If you're lucky enough to own a boat and you have another day off today, it might be a good day to get out there. It's going to be steamy. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look around town. It's pretty out there, but it's not cold.
It is not, but boy, we have some nice, cool mornings in our forecast. It is pretty right now, though. Goldsboro, Apex completely clear, along with Chapel Hill, courtesy of Top of the Hill Restaurant. And of course, there's our newsroom in Fayetteville. Here's a look at the big picture. We had our cold front finally move through overnight last night. That is going to open the door to some cooler, drier air thanks to this high pressure system. Now, we do have some clusters of thunderstorms that are back to our south and west. None of that is headed our way. Instead, we're going to see a nice flow coming out of the northwest. It's going to be cooler and drier, and that's going to stick with us for most of the week. You can see that last little bit of cloud cover sliding off to the east. And because we do still have a little bit of moisture in the atmosphere, there could be a tiny sprinkle or shower that pops up. Notice our chances for that are pretty minimal. So that means this week is going to be great for getting outside, maybe doing some yard work. Yes, that is Gerald Owens out there on his tractor mowing his giant field. Rain chances are 0 from tomorrow all the way through Sunday. Now, maybe into Sunday night and Monday we get into a small chance, but that leaves us with a big window. And I know, it's a work week, but it will be a good week for outdoor projects. Saturday and Sunday, it should still be pretty nice. Drought monitor is looking great. So we still have just a small portion of North Carolina that is abnormally dry. Otherwise, we have wiped that slate clean. We've seen a lot of rain in May. We were really starting to slide into some more serious drought conditions there in April. But boy, we have made up for it this month. In the last 30 days, our viewing area has seen anywhere from about 120 to over 160% of the normal rainfall. So if we skip this week, we'll be doing okay. There's a slightly above normal chance for precipitation June 5th through June 11th. And there's also a slight chance of above normal temperatures. But certainly we're not looking at any major heat waves all the way through June 11th. And that is definitely good news. As a matter of fact, we have some cool air coming our way. Tomorrow morning, it will be noticeably cooler than this morning at 62. And then we'll keep dropping it, looking at 56 on Friday morning and 54 on Saturday morning. If you're a Saturday morning exercise person, it's going to feel fantastic. Temperatures do begin to creep up again as we get into the early part of next week. So we'll be watching out for that. But other than that, it's really going to be an awfully nice week for this time of year. Eric?
Elizabeth, taking a look at our traffic, the biggest issue remains this pair of crashes right outside of Apex that we have been tracking for about the last hour now. Zooming in there, you can see both of these crashes right in the vicinity of that US 1 Tryon Road interchange. This leading to some pretty significant backups here today. Taking a live look outside from the traffic cam there in that area, you can see one of the vehicles that seems to have been involved in this crash still there, still on this side of the road. You want to be looking out for that if you're headed that way. You'll also want to be looking out for those delays as well. This crash causing about a 10-minute delay as you're headed into Raleigh from Apex. You can see it actually dropped down to about 7 minutes in the last couple of minutes here. Otherwise, seeing delays coming in from Wake Forest. It's 7 minutes, 10 minutes as you're headed in from Knightdale as well. We'll continue to keep a close eye on this crash down here. Let you know as things change.
Jeff Hogan at the WRAL Live Center. Brand new information coming in. The Associated Press is reporting that T-Mobile is making a blockbuster deal here in the world of cellular phone service. T-Mobile buying almost all of U.S. Cellular. It's a deal that's worth $4.4 billion. As part of the agreement, T-Mobile will get U.S. Cellular's wireless operations and about 30% of its assets, including about 600 towers where T-Mobile is already a tenant. T-Mobile's CEO said that it'll create a better experience for all of its customers, so that's what it means. U.S. Cellular customers will gain access to T-Mobile's 5G network. That will give them better coverage and speed.
The sports world is mourning the death of basketball icon Bill Walton. A moment of silence was held last night before the playoff game between the Indiana Pacers and the Boston Celtics. The Hall of Famer played for the Celtics for 2 seasons at the end of his career, winning the championship with them in 1986. After his playing career, he rose to new fame as an eccentric broadcaster. He died of cancer yesterday at the age of 71.
Police say a man is in the hospital with life-threatening injuries. This is because of a shooting in a South Durham parking lot. Police responded to NC 55 near NC 54 around 6:15 last night. Witnesses told them 2 people were shooting at each other in the parking lot. The man who was found hurt was rushed to the hospital, and police are still trying to find the person they say shot him.
No one was hurt when a truck slammed into a building in Halifax County. The Scotland Neck Police Department posted these photos to social media last night. You can see a pickup truck went through the wall of this building at the intersection of Highway 125 and Gressenen Road. We are working to find out the cause.
The fire on a United Airlines plane caused some delays at one of the nation's busiest airports on Memorial Day. Look at this right here. A person on a flight set to take off from Chicago's O'Hare Airport shared this video. Notice the dark smoke coming from a wing while the plane sits on the tarmac. Arrivals at the airport were temporarily halted while the plane was towed back to the gate. But despite all this, no one was hurt.
Police in Sacramento are trying to find the person who shot 5 people in a neighborhood. This happened late last night outside an apartment complex. Police say the victims are 3 men, a woman, and a teen girl. Their conditions are unknown at this time.
At least 24 people were killed over the long holiday weekend during severe weather across the country. Here's Amy Kiley.
Everything was gone and that everyone was missing.
More than 20 people are dead from a storm system that's been pounding the U.S. since the weekend. After this morning, the eastern seaboard's getting relief, while new storms hit Texas and surrounding states. Meanwhile, some no longer in immediate danger are mourning their losses.
They were 2 of our very beloved neighbors. All of our kids played together.
The National Weather Service says a tornado that touched down near Tulsa, Oklahoma, was at least an EF3. Family and friends are grieving for 2 people who died during that storm.
It was heartbreaking just hearing him scream for everyone, trying to find everyone.
Tana would have wanted her kids to be safe. Linda would have wanted her grandkids to be safe.
Texas has one of the highest death tolls.
This little camper is where I was at.
This man is thankful he survived a tornado there, unlike some of his neighbors. He says he feels for their loved ones.
We can't replace it alive.
Other storm victims miss their animals.
We've lost cows, we've lost pigs, we lost one of our dogs. My husband's lost his horse.
For many others, the loss involves their homes, livelihoods, or both.
It's our life's work. It's our passion.
Those poor people. That was Amy Kiley reporting. Millions of people are under heat advisories in Texas, Louisiana, and Mississippi today. And some areas could see indices above 110 degrees.
Those who made the ultimate sacrifice on the battlefield were honored at Freedom Memorial Park in Fayetteville. Many people attended to show their support. The ceremony featured what you just heard, a gun salute for the fallen, and speeches from service members and community leaders. Wreaths were posted near monuments honoring those from Cumberland County who served in just about every major conflict around the world. And people in 7 villages in Indonesia are leaving their homes after a volcanic eruption. This time, lapse video shows volcanic ash blasting out of Mount Ibu early Monday morning. The ash clouds went about 4 miles into the sky. Local officials say about 1,800 people are in that evacuation zone.
A surfer in California encountered a shark and survived. This happened Sunday night in San Clemente. It's about an hour south of Los Angeles. 25-year-old Evan Garcia was looking to catch just one last wave. That's when he says he felt something hit his board. A camera shows the moment he was knocked off. He says he fell into the water, and when he opened his eyes, he saw the shark.
It was strong enough to knock me completely into the water, so probably about 4 to 6 foot juvenile shark.
White shark.
Probably. I mean, those are the ones that are sighted on our coast all the time.
It bit his board, but not him. And Garcia says he's thought a lot about that moment and considers himself lucky.
A 19-year-old man is safe after falling down a 400-foot canyon in Washington. Officials say he was walking around a washout that has now become a trail near the high steel bridge where he fell. The man had a few scrapes to his arms and was taken to the hospital for evaluation. And despite warning signs, a local sheriff's corporal says around 5 to 7 people usually fall around the bridge every year. Officials remind explorers to stay on the trail so you don't get hurt.
A high school senior in Harnett County is graduating next week with more than $3 million in college scholarships. Jaquela Duell is the master sergeant for the junior ROTC at Overhills High School. She has a 4.0 GPA and is student body president. She shared this advice for graduating seniors.
do not procrastinate. Do not let senioritis get to you, because in the blink of an eye, you're going to be on the stage at any moment. So high school is about what you make it. Life is about what you make it in general. It's up to you to make the right choices and go on the right path and make the right friends. Keep your friends close.
Advice. She'll attend North Carolina A&T in the fall, and she wants to join the Army and become an OBGYN. I-440 is back open this morning after a car overturned. What a witness on the scene told us led to the car flipping.
And a child is fighting for his life after a bad Memorial Day crash in Garner. The charges the driver accused of causing the crash is facing.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Time now is 8:26. I'm Michelle McConaughey. It is beautiful. It is sunny out there, but it is feeling steamy. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look over Clinton. The sun is shining, Elizabeth.
It is. And today is going to be that transition day. It's still going to be a little on the warm and sticky side, but we're starting to see everything changing to less humid and less hot too. But it's pretty in Clinton this morning, mostly sunny. Our temperatures are climbing into the 70s now. 74 Fayetteville, 75 South Hill, 71 in Irwin. By lunchtime, we're in the mid 80s, and we will see a high of 88. If you're waiting for exercise, looking for the perfect day to exercise outside, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday look phenomenal. Eric?
Elizabeth, I might wait a little bit longer just to be safe. Take a look at our traffic map here this morning. Some good news here. These crashes that we have been following just north of Apex, they are starting to clear up. The situation there improving a little bit. You can see we do still have delays, though, both on Highway 1 as well as on US 64. Taking a live look out here right now, you can see one of the vehicles involved in that crash on US 1 still on the scene. You want to slow down, give those folks some extra room if you're headed that way. That crash still adding about 7 to 8 minutes to your commute.
Thanks, Eric. A man is facing impaired driving charges after police say he caused a crash that killed 2 people and hospitalized a child. The crash happened near the intersection of Highway 70 and New Rand Road. Garner police say Jordan Porter ran a red light and hit 2 other cars. And a 17-year-old is hurt after police say someone shot him in Durham. The shooting happened near the intersection of Wabash Street and Moore Place just after 10 o'clock last night. First responders took the teen to the hospital. He is expected to recover. Durham police are working to make an arrest. Coming up next on Fox 50, a woman survives after her car flipped upside down on I-440. See the shocking video. And next on Today, Darius Rucker live in Studio 1A.
Live from WRAL News headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
And the muggy meter is up at steamy right now, but I'll show you how many days it will take for it to drop all the way down to refreshing coming up.
And a car ended up flipped upside down in the middle of I-440 this morning. What witnesses tell us led to that crash.
This morning, 2 people are dead and a child is fighting for his life after a serious crash here in Garner. Just ahead, I'll explain what we know so far about this driver and the charges he's facing.
And from Wake to Halifax County, people are waking up with downed trees and debris to clean up. We have a look at the damage from across the area as we head into a calmer weather day today. Things should be, again, a little quieter as people are cleaning up that mess from yesterday, which we'll show you more images of that in just a bit. Thanks for joining us this morning here on WRAL News on Fox 50. I'm Chris Lovingood.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Okay, let's talk about some of that calmer weather. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner standing by with a beautiful look over Fayetteville. We're seeing blue skies and sunshine.
Yeah, it looks gorgeous out across our area right now. Again, partly cloudy skies in Fayetteville, 74 degrees in the Triangle, and our wind is coming out of the west. We're going to see that wind shifting. It's been southwesterly, bringing in all that warmth and humidity, and then we've had disturbances roll through to bring us strong to severe thunderstorms. That has all shifted out of our area, and gradually our wind will start to come out of the northwest. It's going to help our temperatures and our humidity to drop a little bit. But right now, heading out the door, low to mid 70s. Today's going to be that transition day, so it's still going to be on the warm side. Lunchtime 83, we'll see a high of 88 this afternoon. After that, we'll see temperatures falling. We won't see highs in the upper 80s again until maybe about a week from now. I'll show you what we will see coming up. Eric?
Elizabeth, taking a look at traffic here this morning. A couple of crashes to tell you about, including one that's just popped up here in the last hour. Unfortunately, we don't have sensors in this area. This is Leesville Road at Carpenter Pond Road, but we're told there is an overturned tractor trailer there. WRAL's Nick Perlin is there on scene in the WRAL breaking news tracker. Nick, what are we seeing at this point?
Well, Eric, it's a pretty extraordinary sight behind me with this tanker truck. On its side here, we have we have crews, fire departments here trying to remove it. A tow truck just arrived moments ago. I will get behind the camera just so I can zoom in and give you guys a better look at what I'm seeing here. And as I focus the camera up, you're going to see crews here in that truck, like I said, on its side. I'm still trying to figure out how it ended up that way. But as I pan over, you're going to see this tow truck is here. So they are hoping to remove this truck relatively soon. But in the meantime, this stretch of Leesville is blocked off by Durham County Sheriff's deputies. So in the meantime, this could cause some issues if you're trying to travel this way. So Eric, what's a good way to get around this?
Yeah, Nick, definitely going to be a lot to clean up there on that scene. Your best bet is going to be to divert down from Leesville onto Glenwood Avenue, Highway 70, instead of trying to take Leesville all the way across. That will save you a good chunk of time because I get the sense that crash is not going anywhere anytime soon. Otherwise, we continue to follow another crash. This is down here, US 1. You can see a couple of crashes there popped up on the map. This has been improving over the course of the last hour, but it's still going to add about 7 to 8 minutes to your drive times this morning. Taking a live look outside there at that intersection, you can see one of the vehicles involved still on that scene, so you'll want to keep a heads up if you're coming in that way this morning as well.
All right, thank you, Eric. I-440 is back open after a crash early this morning that ended up with a car on its roof. It happened near Capitol Boulevard at about 3 o'clock this morning. This is video from the WRAL breaking news tracker. Witnesses say the driver was driving the wrong way on the exit ramp before driving down a hill and flipping onto the highway. The woman was hurt in the crash but is expected to be okay. 3 of 4 lanes of the highway were blocked while crews worked to clear that scene.
WRAL is following another case of someone under the age of 18 being shot in Durham. A 17-year-old is hurt after someone shot him in Durham, according to authorities. This happened just before 10 o'clock last night on Wabash Street near Moore Place. And as WRAL's Kelsey Coffey explains, this only adds to the trend that we're seeing in Durham among young people.
That 17-year-old is expected to be okay. Durham police are still investigating here today. They're working to make an arrest. But let's get you straight to video from the WRAL breaking news tracker to give you a look at the scene. The shooting happened near the intersection of Wabash Street and Moore Place just after 10 last night. The shooting comes just weeks after Durham's latest crime report was released. And we're looking into crime trends. They show more young people are becoming crime victims. Yesterday's shooting makes at least 16 juveniles shot this year in Durham. We'll stay on top of what comes out of this investigation and keep you updated. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News in Durham.
3 people are hurt after a crash in Carthage. This single car crash happened at about 11:30 on NC 2427. The car overturned and landed on its roof. You can see here in the video, one person was airlifted to the trauma center at UNC. 2 others were taken to a nearby hospital and are expected to recover. And we're looking forward to a calmer day today after some wild weather on Memorial Day. This is what it looked like in Cary, where a viewer tells WRAL at least 5 trees fell in her neighborhood alone. And there were similar scenes throughout the area as heavy rain and high winds passed through. Some of the worst weather was in Scotland Neck and Halifax County. A tornado warning was issued there yesterday afternoon. Neighbors describe a terrifying scene that lasted just seconds when a tree fell, taking power lines down along with it.
And it was like a red flashing light, like something just blew up. And I'm like, I screamed and went back in the house and closed the door.
People reported several trees fell along one street in the town.
A child was involved in a severe car crash yesterday in Garner, and it was so severe the child suffered life-threatening injuries. Investigators say the 2 adults in the car with the child died in that crash. WRAL's Laura Levine is on New Rand Road this morning. Laura, police say the driver was impaired and he may be facing more charges too.
Yeah, Chris, new this morning, we are learning more about this driver who has been charged. Jordan Porter here. I've been going through court paperwork and finding that he actually has a lengthy record of traffic violations, everything from speeding to failure to stop at a red light. This is where the latest incident happened here behind me at the intersection of US 70 and New Rand Road. You can still see some of the crash debris, pieces of cars and vehicles scattered across the road here. Garner Police tells us that he has been charged again with DWI after running a red light here at the intersection of Highway 70 and New Rand Road. Take a look at this video now, which really shows you some of the devastation as investigators were on the scene. Police say Porter was traveling west on US 70 and ran that light, striking a Mazda traveling south on New Rand Road. The driver of the Mazda, Tyler Campbell, and a passenger, Susan Campbell, died because of their injuries. A child was also in that vehicle, and they are in the hospital this morning with life-threatening injuries. We spoke with a woman over the phone who says she narrowly missed this crash.
If I'd have been a few seconds earlier pulling out, or, it would have been me. I'm just saying, it would have been. There's just no other way around it.
Just such a scary and devastating situation here. Garner Police say more charges are possible. It's a story that we will continue to follow today. Laura Levine, WRAL News, live in Garner.
Closing arguments will start today in former President Donald Trump's hush money trial, bringing weeks of testimony to a close. Trump's attorneys will present their closing arguments first, followed by the arguments from prosecutors. Once both sides finish their arguments, the 12 jurors will begin their deliberations. The judge has said that he expects this to happen tomorrow. Trump is facing 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in an effort to cover up hush money payments made before the 2016 election to porn actress Stormy Daniels.
Today, Durham teachers and school employees will rally in a call for more funding for raises. They plan to march ahead of the public budget hearing at the Durham County building tonight. They want the county commission to fully support the Durham School Board's request for additional funding. They say the full amount of funding is needed to keep school staff from leaving for other jobs. The public budget hearing gets started at 7 o'clock tonight.
The United Nations Security Council will meet today to talk about Israel's deadly airstrike on a camp for displaced Palestinians in Rafah. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the strike went tragically wrong. The Prime Minister says the airstrike will be investigated. A growing list of countries, world leaders, and aid agencies have now condemned the strike. UN Chief Antonio Guterres issued a statement saying there is no safe space in Gaza. French President Emmanuel Macron says he was outraged by the strikes and called for a ceasefire. Germany described the images from the airstrike as unbearable.
Just a heads up for drivers who use I-440, you'll need to pay close attention this week. At midnight, crews will close the on-ramp from Hillsborough Street onto I-440. That ramp will stay closed for at least 3 months. You'll now have to take Hillsborough to Blue Ridge Road and then Wade Avenue to get onto 440 East. Detour signs will be posted. The Boston Celtics are on their way to the NBA Finals. They finished off a sweep of the Indiana Pacers in the Eastern Conference Finals with a 105-102 win last night in Game 4. The Celtics will be looking for their 18th NBA championship, and they'll play the winner of the Western Conference Finals between the Dallas Mavericks and Minnesota Timberwolves. That series will get started a week from Thursday.
Mike Tyson had a mid-air medical scare minutes before landing. How his team says he's doing as he prepares for his next fight.
Plus, the FTC has a new warning about scam calls. We'll tell you which companies top the list of the most impersonated by scammers.
And it's a beautiful start this morning as you're looking live at Southern Pines. Lots of sunshine. After the break, meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner shares how many days of sunshine we'll see before the rain returns.
Good morning, Sanford. Beautiful Tuesday as you're waking up. You got some nice sunny skies, blue skies as well. This is significantly different compared to yesterday. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner has a look at Apex as well. Today, much different than yesterday, Elizabeth.
Yes, we're done with our threat for severe weather. It's still a little bit on the muggy and warm side, but we're transitioning from that pattern to the pattern that's going to bring us cooler, less humid air. It's going to feel fantastic. A bunch of folks walking up and down and even heading out for a run there on Salem Street in Apex. Beautiful there with that gorgeous gorgeous blue sky. Right now it's 74 degrees and our dew point is sitting right there at steamy, but that will change as we get through the day today and on into the next several days too. Lunchtime temperature 73 and we'll see highs in the upper 80s this afternoon. Of course, yesterday was a stormy one. We want to thank Andy Bruner for sending us this Weather Watcher photo of Yates Mill Pond right there at the mill, and that's in South Raleigh. We would love to see your photos as well. Go to WRAL.com, search Weather Watchers, and upload those photos, and we'll show them to you. The weather is going to be quiet for the rest of the week, but we'd love to see, what you have growing in your backyard, flowers, maybe some tomatoes, how your tomatoes coming along. We'd love to see that. 74 in Fayetteville, 76 Goldsboro and in South Hill, and we'll climb to 88 in Durham and Raleigh, and 90 degrees in Fayetteville with mostly sunny skies. Great week to make outdoor plans. Get some gardening done, get your car washed, get some exercise in, head to the pool, which sounds like fun. I mean, I think, whatever is fun is what you should be doing this week. Yellow shaded area is where our temperatures have been a little above normal. The blue shaded area is where temperatures are below normal, and we see that rolling in by Wednesday, Thursday. It's just going to be lovely around here. Summer is coming, so we'll just sit back and enjoy this pretty weather while we have it. Right now, sitting at 68 steamy. It's likely to drop a little bit later this afternoon and then really plunge over the next few days. Tomorrow and Thursday will be in the comfy zone, and we're in steamy right now, so we're going to take it down 2 levels. We may drop it all the way into refreshing on Friday, and then we creep back up to a little more humid by the time we get to Sunday. I put our lunch outside Target right there at Fair instead of Good, mainly because we're going to have such nice weather over the next few days. It's still going to be a little bit warm, a little bit steamy for today at lunchtime. But look at this. We'll see a high of 81 Thursday, 80 Friday, 82 on Saturday. Lunchtime temperatures will be in the mid-70s with really low humidity. This is what I'm really looking forward to. 54 degrees on Saturday morning. I've been trying to get a run in on Saturday mornings. That's going to be phenomenal. And then a little bit warmer into next week. Eric?
Elizabeth, a couple of crashes to tell you about here at 8:45 this morning, the biggest of which actually isn't popping up on the sensors this morning. It's up here on Leesville Road near the intersection with Carpenter Pond Road. I want to send you live out there right now. WRAL's Nick Perlin providing us this picture from the WRAL breaking news tracker. You can see a water truck overturned in the road. This happened around 7:30 this morning. No word on when exactly it's going to get cleaned up. You can see it looks like they're having to actually drain the water out of that truck right now before they'll be able to move it. If you're trying to get around this, your best bet is going to be to divert down here to Glenwood Avenue, Highway 70. That'll save you some time because that truck is going nowhere anytime soon. Otherwise, the biggest issue we're seeing out there on the roads remains down here outside of Apex, although we are seeing some clearing. That's starting to get a little bit better as the morning moves on. Still, you want to keep an eye out for those crashes if you're headed into Raleigh this way.
Thank you, Eric. Representatives for Mike Tyson say that he's doing great after suffering a medical scare. This happened on a flight. His representatives say he had an ulcer flare-up 30 minutes before landing in Los Angeles on Sunday. And that flare-up made him nauseated and dizzy. Paramedics came on board after the plane landed, and in a statement, Tyson's representative said that he is, quote, appreciative to the medical staff that were there to help him, end quote. Tyson is currently preparing for a July match against YouTube star Jake Paul.
A high-stakes visit is underway in Taiwan. U.S. lawmakers are meeting with Taiwan's new president and pledging weapons to defend against the threat from China. Taiwan is self-governed, but China claims it as part of its territory. China reacted to President Lai Ching-te by swearing in, moving warships and fighter jets closer to Taiwan shores, and also warned American leaders not to go to Taiwan. This comes as the U.S. is investing billions of dollars to fortify Taiwan's military with the goal of deterring an attack.
A man accused of stabbing 6 people in 2 separate attacks in Massachusetts is due in court today. Jared Ravizza is accused of stabbing 4 girls between the ages of 9 and 17. This happened at a movie theater in suburban Boston on Saturday. The mother of 3 of the girls stabbed says they were the only ones in the theater at the time.
My oldest was leaned over to get something. He got her in the back, and then my other daughter in the top chest, and then my last daughter across her arm, laughing the whole time, and then got their friend and then ran off.
Now, about an hour after that attack, authorities say Ravizza stabbed a man and a woman at a McDonald's about 25 miles away. All 6 victims are expected to recover, and authorities say both stabbings appear to be unprovoked.
The FTC is warning customers of the companies that scammers impersonate the most. Best Buy and its Geek Squad take the #1 spot with 52,000 reports of scams last year. The agency says customers were often contacted through email about renewing services they never purchased for hundreds of dollars. The FTC says Amazon was impersonated the second most with 34,000 reports, followed by PayPal. Microsoft ranked 4th, but its customers lost the most money from scams.
The word wild is how Preeti Was describes being nominated for the James Beard Best Chef in the Southeast Award. She was a semifinalist this year and last year, and she's only been in the restaurant game for 2 years. That is impressive. Was is the owner of Chini in downtown Durham, a restaurant that reflects her South Asian roots.
I never intended to open an Indian restaurant, ever. I didn't think I was a good cook of Indian cuisine.
So then what changed for you? Because clearly you are now opening restaurants and in the food industry.
And I started to think about what I missed from India. I thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to go all out and do what I am missing.
Was doesn't consider herself a chef necessarily. She describes herself as a home cook who just loves serving people food. On WRAL News at noon, the surprising backlash her first restaurant experienced after the James Beard nomination.
Food is probably delicious. Well, singer Lizzo responding to a South Park episode that used her name for a parody weight loss drug. In the episode, Lizzo is marketed as a medication for people who can't afford Ozempic or Mounjaro. It's shown as a way to just stop caring about how much you weigh. Lizzo posted a social media video showing her reaction. After watching the scene, she says she's proud that her message of body positivity got the attention of the South Park creators.
Late night talk show host Jimmy Kimmel is celebrating a major health update for his son. Kimmel posted to Instagram yesterday to share the good news about his 7-year-old son, Billy. His heart valve replacement surgery was a success. Kimmel praised the doctors at Children's Hospital of Los Angeles. Billy was born with congenital heart disease, and this is his 3rd open heart surgery.
Kourtney Kardashian opening up about her struggle to get pregnant with her 4th child. The 45-year-old answered questions from fans recently on Instagram. One follower asked about her experience with in vitro fertilization, and the reality TV star said that she attempted IVF 5 times without success. She and her husband, Blink-182 drummer Travis Barker, then decided to take a break, but soon found out that they were pregnant. Their son, Rocky 13, was born in November.
Batman pulled double duty this week at a children's hospital in Illinois. The Cape Crusader joined forces with the Green Lantern to wash windows and entertain kids at the Children's Hospital of Illinois in Peoria, which is my hometown. This is a pretty cool event. Twice a year, workers from Clearly Windows in Bloomington, Illinois, dress up as superheroes to clean the hospital's windows. The man behind the mask, operations manager Rhett Winford, has dressed up as Batman for several years now, and he says he just loves bringing smiles to the kids' faces.
It makes it worth it whenever, you see all them all excited, run up to the window, smiling. You get to put a smile on somebody's face who doesn't really get to get out too much and see some cool things. So we get to bring it to them.
Not all heroes wear capes, but that one does. The company is planning to have more superhero window cleaning at the hospitals this fall.
Oh, that's really cute. Our one NC State alumni we've introduced to you before is making national headlines again. She is now a 2-time cheese rolling champ. This is Abby Lamp. She came in first place in one of Britain's most extreme annual cheese rolling events. This is when people roll a cheese down the hill and then, as you can see, basically fling themselves down after it. Whoever gets to the cheese first is the winner. Oh, my goodness.
I certainly hope paramedics are standing by at the bottom of that hill. You see that dude's neck? Golly.
Wow.
All right, so before we go to break, here are the winning lottery numbers for you. And, of course, we'll get you another check on your weather and your traffic. That's coming up in just a couple minutes.